Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of CivOps Gear, playing with all the knives and EDC gear for everyone from the discerning civilian all the way to the experienced operator. Today we're dressing up a shaman, and I mean that quite literally. We're going to dress up my Spyderco Shaman that I've had for quite a long time now. I intended it as a user. I intended it to get a lot of pocket time, and I wasn't looking for pretty, I was looking for utility. So this S30 blade, fully serrated with these G10 scales, was pretty much the right call. But the G10 has never really done it for me in a big way. I've never fully loved it. So this knife has actually not gotten nearly the amount of time it should. Recently, I was on BladeHQ, you know, as we do, and I find these from Flytanium Lotus Pattern Shaman scales in black titanium. What do you guys think? They're not really as black as I would like them to have been. I'd like them to be this G10 level black, but they're pretty dark for titanium. What do you guys think? That's gonna be pretty, right? Blacked out hardware. It's gonna be cool. You ready? Let's dress this bad boy up. All right, here we go. So there are 3 torque sizes at play in taking apart our Shaman: T6, T8, T10. T6 will pop off our pocket clip, of course. Hopefully we can do this without stripping anything. I'm pretty sure I've actually disassembled this before, so hopefully nothing is locked in so tight that it doesn't come out. Oh. Uh-oh. I think we got it. I think. Last one. We get it. Looks like it. All right, did we get them all? I think so. Love when this happens. The T6s, you can just never be sure about a T6. T6s, I don't love them. T8s is where the confidence starts coming into play. All right, pocket clips off. That's easy enough. So what do we have? Just two body screws and a pivot, which is going to be, okay, so there's no lockdown side. All right, let's loosen our pivot. The pivot's going to be a T10, which, love a T10. You have to really try to strip a T10. All right. Oh, you know what? Maybe I haven't taken this apart before. I don't know. That's some Loctite in there that looks like more than I would ever put in. All right, pivot screws out. Now we'll transfer to our T8 for the body screws. We finished with our primary. Now we'll transition to our secondary. Sorry, I'm mixing my industries here. Come on, T8 body screw. Don't do this. There we go. All right. Rear body screw, pivot. Come on, last guy. All right, maybe we can get this scale. Yeah, all right, scale's coming off anyway, along with our liner. Somewhat predictable. With our stop pin, which just went yeeting away. All right, so let's go get that stop pin back. Got the stop pin back. Little bugger went trying to escape. You sit right there. All right, so what do we have here? We have our, yeah, maybe I did take this apart. That looks like a CivOps amount of oil in there. All right. Beautiful. Yes, yes. All right. The blade looks clean and the washer looks oiled. This side, the washer's down there, looks oiled and clean. All right. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna have to take our T10 and take the other side's pivot screw out, which is proving rather difficult. Why is that proving so difficult? Why is this pivot screw not wanting to come out? What's the deal here? This whole process is making me angry. And for what? This one just really doesn't want to let go. And I just am not sure what to do here at this point. Other than maybe a heat gun on that pivot. We'll try that. We'll try that. Damn it, I loaned out my heat gun. All right, my friends, we are back and it is another day now. And I was able to get the over Loctited screw out. This is the culprit right here. I'll tell you something interesting. Oh, our pivot just came out. I'll tell you two interesting things. On the show side, this is the pivot screw that was able to pop loose of the Loctite. And you can see the Loctite residue all over it. This is the one I had to hit with 600 degrees from a heat gun, and there is no residue on it at all. It's clean. I'm pretty sure the Loctite basically melted off. After all, heat is pretty much the sworn enemy of Loctite. So, okay, there's our two pivot screws. We got it done. There's our pivot. And here's the other thing. Thank goodness for a D-cut pivot. Thank goodness this is not a free spinning pivot. You see that little D-cut right there? That little flat line? That fits into a space in the liner, which makes sure that this doesn't spin freely. And thank goodness for that, because I was really I was cranking torque on the T10 to try to get that screw loose. And thankfully it didn't start free spinning because of that. All right, we're back to business. Let's pop the liner on this side off, and we are done with both of the scales. Our G10 scales are fini. And here's our backside DLC Titanium. Let's pop our liner in there. All right, beauties. Let's hit it with a little spray because it sounds to me a little grindy. Like maybe there's just like a little schmutz in there. Schmutz, of course, being a universal word for, you know, schmutz. It's just stuff in there. All right, we're looking good so far here. Our scales are in place. Da-da-da. Let's go ahead and we will screw our body screws on our rear side back into place. And we'll start putting this knife back together from the rear side up, just the way we took it apart. Might be interesting to replace the back spacer with something Flytanium-y. But okay, meanwhile, let's focus on what's important here. Putting this bad boy back together again with all the king's horses and all the king's men. Put Mr. Humpty Knifey back together again. All right, but one thing with Spydercos is you certainly do not want to tighten down the body screws first. Just leave them loose, because you're going to want some flexibility. Every Spyderco I've taken apart and put back together, I've noticed the same thing. Don't tighten down the body screws first. You're going to want some flexibility while you work with your pivot to get just the right, you know what I'm saying. All right, beauties. That's in there. Now, you know, as long as we're open, let's give it a little cleaning. Just going to clean off and re-oil our washers and our pivot. No biggie. Little rubbing alcohol. This is 99% isopropyl. Rubbing alcohol, 99%, that's going to be pretty strong. That's why it cleans well. All right. Just a little, I'm not going to go too in depth here, just wipe off the major parts. It certainly looks like I had this taken apart not too long ago because of the amount of oil that was in there. We'll do that. Wipe off our washers here. And, you know, the issue when you take apart a Spyderco, as opposed to some other manufacturers, the issue when you take apart a Spyderco, of course, is that you void any factory warranty or any help from Spyderco. They really, really do not want you taking apart Spydercos, and that's unfortunate because, you know, Flytanium has basically made an entire industry out of taking apart Spydercos, and a lot of us do it on a regular basis. But certainly, Spyderco is not inclined to cover or protect or fix a knife after you've taken it apart. So it's always sort of a gamble. But, you know, if you mess it up, you can always super glue the whole thing back together and sell it to somebody on eBay. And, all right, washers are clean. All right. Our stop pin is there. It is. All right. Of course, the Shaman, as many of you know, is a compression lock. So basically a liner lock, but on the top. For the most part, that's what a compression lock is. A frame lock, but on the top. Best way I could describe it. All right, so let us take a little bit of number 10, a little bit of number 10 oil. We'll drop, oh wait, let's find our D. Okay, our D spot is, our D spot. Our D spot is right there on the bottom. You can see there's a little flat line, and that's where our pivot has to line up to make sure that it's not free spinning. So we will do that. All right. And it looks like that is basically just like that, but I'm a little concerned. Why is it not popping all the way in? Oh, I wonder if that's because the washer has to go. All right, the washer has to go on before we put the pivot back in. Fair enough. Let's put the washer in place. Now we will put our pivot in with the D spot. You know, many people find it difficult to find the D spot. So take this as a tutorial. There's the D spot. All right, now let's take this pivot screw, put it back in there and hold this pivot in place. Of course, we're not going to tighten this down very much at all. Just enough to hold it there. All right, perfect. Let's place our stop pin. All right. Stop pin is placed. Very good. All right, and now we shall put another touch of oil on this washer. I'm one who believes that unless you're really being ridiculously insane, you can't really have too much oil. I mean, of course you can if you're being ridiculous with it, but you know, if you're talking about a little bit, a small reasonable amount versus a tiny bit more reasonable amount, you really can't have too much oil. I mean, it's pretty harmless and pretty beneficial and helpful. So I'm a believer. I'm a believer in the oil. I believe in beer. Okay. There we go. Last washer. Let's go ahead and see what are the odds you guys think this is all going to line up right. We all know that never happens the first time. We all know that. All right. Could it possibly be that easy? Could it possibly be that easy? Let's see here. Come here, screw. You belong here. Screw, you and that hole were meant for each other. Don't deny fate. All right. Always turn left first. Make sure your threads are lined up right. All right, so nothing is tightened down very much here. I'm going to leave these all pretty loose. Okay. And now let's go ahead and put in our show side pivot. And this is where we're going to start to, oh, you know what? Let's clean that off. Let's clean that off, or at least pull some of this residue off, at least. That's better. Certainly better. Okay, let's put that in. Enough talking. Let's put it in. We had dinner already. We had dessert. What else do you want? Enough talking. Let's put it in. Here we go. Let's see. Right now, all right, let's have a look. Our centering is off. We're favoring the rear side. Action's okay. Action's good. But our centering's off. Okay. Let's play with our body screws a little bit. We're going to loosen our pivots. Wow, look at how much that wants to come apart. All right, so let's keep that tightened. Let's keep that basically tightened. And now let's go ahead and tighten down the body screws and see what that does for us. Wait a second, maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. This is the phase where it's just a matter of playing around and figuring out, you know, where your sweet spot is. Oh, you know what? Funny because, oh no, I thought that centering was better, but no, not quite yet. Now about when we tighten the other side. Oh no, that just pulled it. You guys see what's going on here? As I turn, see that? See it moving a little bit? So, okay, so that's if I tighten it down. And then if I tighten this side, I'm untightening, I'm unscrewing, now I'm tightening. Not making a big difference here. So, okay. We unscrew, and now we literally just shift things a little bit. Everything's pretty loose right now. We're just gonna shift things. Oh, you know what? We might have not been entirely in place before. Okay, now I've got that fitting right. Let's tighten these down now and see what happens here. Not exactly centered, but it's not bad, and I have to tighten this pivot still. So let's see what happens here. Look at that, centering's pretty good. Action. Oh, my fault. Good. Thumb, good. Middle finger, good. Drop shut ability, good. Centering. Actually, it's not bad. I think maybe we can get it a little better, but I'm inclined not to mess with it right now. I'm inclined not to mess with that at all. All right, no blade play. Up, down, forget about, but left and right? No, not really, no. Action, good. Good. Centering. All right, we're good. That means the last step in the process. Let's put the pocket clip back on to the new scales, and we will get this bad boy all done. Thank you for behaving, little T6 screw. T6 screws are not known for behaving. They like to yeet themselves around and get themselves lost in crevices and cracks and under furniture. But you three have been very well behaved. You'll be rewarded with a life holding a pocket clip to titanium, which is everything a little screw wants to be in life. All right, tighten down, tighten down, tighten down. I like the all black. I like the blacked out clip with the blacked out hardware and the blacked out titanium. There you go, guys. What do y'all think? So there is our Spyderco Shaman S30 blade, DLC coated blade, fully serrated with Flytanium Black DLC Titanium scales with the Lotus Pattern. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you on the very next CivOps gear review. Make sure to smash that like button for me if you're still here, and see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.